Here we have the current stock market update for NVIDIA Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. Before we begin with today's chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comments section so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So as we can see here, share prices are sort of trending lower into the end of the week this week. This is the Friday trading session, so the daily close here will be very important because this will also be the weekly close. So it does have a little bit more significance than it would normally have. This is the 4-hour price chart. So each candle on this time frame represents a 4-hour trading period. And as we can see here, share prices are sort of making an interesting movement here into the final parts of the week. So I do want to refer back to the prior video because in that video, I said that share prices here, we're seeing a fairly important technical breakout in terms of the trend line resistance that has been seen previously for this ticker. So specifically what I'm talking about here is this movement into 127.67. I think this might actually be 127.66. Just want to be completely accurate here. So as we can see here, this movement, this high that has been created here at 127.67 is important because we did break above this prior sort of right shoulder of a head and shoulders pattern at 120.79. But we're starting to see a bit of failure here, and this does raise some interesting questions because what we're really going to have to look at here is whether or not this represents a false breakout to the top side. So if we do start to see share prices continue to head lower, and possibly even break through support zones, it's possible that that prior bullish breakout might become invalidated. So let's specifically look at why that might be the case. So here, if we look at the prior trend highs, if we go back to the all-time highs, which were posted during the June 20 trading session, we can see that share prices have seen a succession of lower highs since then. So that is a bit of a bearish event here. So here we have this 140.76 high, 136.15, 131.26, and then we were actually looking at 120.79 here for a while. But this trend started to break to the top side, and we did see this new movement into 127.66. As that happened, we also started to see an erosion or an invalidation of this prior trend line that had been developing here for quite some time. And this is a longer term trend line here. This is a 4-hour price chart, so this is not a short term time frame. So as we can see here, this share price break in the positive direction failed to actually close above that trend line. Most significantly, the best outcome that could have been seen here would have occurred if share prices were able to close above here on a daily basis. So essentially, we would have needed to have seen share prices close above roughly 126.50, 126.60 possibly, in order to close above that prior downtrend line. That would have been the best possible scenario. Alternatively, possibly the second best scenario would have at least to have seen a 4-hour price close above that trend line. But as we can see here, this is the 4-hour price chart, and neither of those things happened. This is a red candle, which means that the close of the candle is actually down here. So the closing period came in at 122.66. So there is a bit of a reversal there. And even though we did technically see a breakout here to the top side, we didn't get a close above there. So that is a little bit worrisome as far as the potential here for a false breakout to the top side. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't happen. That doesn't mean that that we're finalized here. Or that this has definitely been a false breakout. I mean, I really wouldn't start to make that call unless we start to see breaks of support zones. And the first area that I would be looking at comes in at 115.40, which would be roughly down here. And there are two different reasons why I would point to that area specifically. One would be the fact that this is the prior price low, roughly from the September 23 trading session. And then in addition to that, you do have most of the exponential moving average cluster resting in this region. Not all of it, because we do have this blue line here, the sort of flatlining blue line here, that does fall a bit lower. But if we were to break below 115.40, at the very least, we would be looking for a retest of that 200 period exponential moving average, that blue line at the bottom of the price chart. And then at that point, I would then be more comfortable calling this a false breakout to the top side. So, as things currently stand here, the close here is going to be very important. There is clearly negative momentum that's governing markets at the moment. And this does suggest that we could see a negative close here as well. So when I say negative momentum, really what I'm referring to here is the reading and the relative strength index. And as we can see, share prices are really caught in this very long-term downward trend momentum condition. As we can see here, this goes all the way back to those prior all-time highs. If you can sort of see that on the price chart, it's a little bit difficult to see, but this prior high in the relative strength index matches up very closely with the all-time highs. So this is essentially where the negative momentum started to occur. As we can see here on the price chart itself, this is where the next red candle started to form. We did see an all-time high post during that trading period. But then share prices started to fall relatively quickly. We actually dropped right back into 121 at that point. So that was a fairly significant move to the downside. And as we can see here, this really is where that negative momentum trend started to develop. This is where it originated. So, and what we've seen most recently with this recent move, this sort of failure here at 127.66, what we're seeing here is also a failure in the relative strength index. So these things are matching up here kind of closely, a bit closely. And this is, these are negative signals. We are seeing a little bit of a positive momentum condition here that is starting to develop, but it's a bit weak and it's very short term. So that, doesn't mean that it can't continue. It can still continue, but at the moment, this price failure here at 127 is causing some fairly significant problems here for this stock. And if we do see share prices start to break support zones, we're going to have to start to refer to this upside breakout as a false breakout. So, this is really what we're looking at the moment. And the relative strength index also is starting to, if we zoom in here, we can see that it's starting to drop below its own exponential moving average. So there are a few different bearish signals here that are developing at the same time. And if we do see a weak close for this trading session, that will give us a weak close on the weekly time frame as well, and that will suggest that we could be under some pressure here as we head into next week. So pay close attention to the close today, and we will have updates on this stock shortly. Here's the current stock market update for NVIDIA Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.